minute right here. No. My name's Don Leake. I'm a member of the church. I'm on the board too. We volunteered to have this meeting here and to show off our lovely building, but more to have you meet with Neal Krzyzaniak.
Very good.
That's very close, okay. Who has some developing ideas here. And next to him is Shirley Zachman. And then David Robeson, real estate agent from Lakeville, I guess. So first of all, we decided not to use air conditioning because of COVID. We got the windows all open, so it's breezy in here. Hopefully it's not too uncomfortable for you. The masks are encouraged but not required. I like to just speak without a mask, but when I'm not speaking, I put my mask on. The sign-up sheet there is just for other meetings on this development project. We're not going to share your email with anybody else. We're not going to ask you to join our society, but you could. And I think that's it. I just want to recognize Steve Anderson, our next door neighbor right here, who put this together and got the word out. The group up here is a little surprised by the number of people that are interested in this project. Initially it was for, say, the landowners that might be impacted, but a lot of people are impacted in River Falls Township in the city of River Falls. So we welcome you here, and we're zooming this to people who cannot make it, just a few. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And we're going to record it, but Martha, are you recording too?
Yeah.
Okay, just to let you know, I think that's it. We're going to have a presentation by Neal, maybe 15 minutes or so, and then a chance for Q&A. And that's what these microphones are for. And I think maybe the most efficient thing, even though you have to get up out of your seat, is just to come up here and get in a line, a queue, here and then over there. And so that we can do the question answering efficiently. Is that okay? Okay, so the ball's in your court, Neal.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I find this very ironic because we're sitting in a church, and 3 years ago in Lakeville, Minnesota, we started up our own church. It's a non-denominational church, and we're up to about 700 parishioners, and it's very exciting to see everybody come out tonight. Thank you. I'm going to try to share with you our vision, okay, and what we've accomplished today, and then we will show you what the layout looks like, and then we will have questions. Okay? I'll try to keep it short, but I want to make sure that I cover everything so that nobody leaves here scratching their head saying, what in the world did he just get done saying? So, we're here tonight to introduce a 500 plus acre project. It's an entertainment facility that we've been working on for about the last 8 to 10 months, mostly with the Moody's, which of course are here tonight. And everyone knows where that property is. It sits out back behind us here. It's a multi-facet project, and what I mean by that is it has many entertainment components to it, but it's geared around automobiles, okay? When I say automobiles, this is not a racetrack, okay? This is a country club that has a 5-mile road course. There's currently about 10 to 12 to 14 of these around the country. We'll give you some information on where you can go to see what they're doing. Some of them, like the one in Elkhart, Wisconsin, that is a racetrack, okay? they hold NASCAR events. This is not a place for NASCAR events. I would like to talk about the project. And like I said, then we'll get into some answers on some questions. We originally scheduled this to meet with the neighbors, to talk to them that were affected. But really, at the end of the day, everybody in the community is affected. We currently, between the Moody property and the Bones property, we have over 500 acres. So we have as much land as we need for this project to happen. Okay? This project has not gone through any city approvals at this point. We've had multiple meetings with the city. We've had multiple meetings with the DNR. We've had meetings with the county to discuss all of the sensitive issues that a project like this would bring. Wow, okay. I'll explain that to you here shortly. So the team is Dave Robson with Telsa, Telus, was contacted by me that I was looking for a large parcel of land for a country club / road course. I have my partner with me, Shirley Zachman. I also have 2 other partners. They're both on the financial end. They have worked with lenders all over the country, and we believe we have the financing for this project to happen, for it to be very successful, and for the landowners to be able to walk away with what our contracts currently state. We'll talk about the partners, so put my glasses on here.
Excuse me, could you keep the microphone in front of your mouth? I know you're turning to be polite and make eye contact with people, but the mic's not going with you.
Okay.
So words cut out.
Thank you. Yep. Okay, as I mentioned, it's very important for everybody to understand this is not a racetrack. This is a 5-mile, give or take, private road course with a clubhouse, outside entertainment, an area for car shows, swap meets, cookouts, live entertainment, a training facility to teach safe driving skills. The facility will have on-staff instructors, and depending on your lack of driving skills on a road course, you will have to take a minimum of 30 minutes in a class safety and 30 minutes on track with the trainer. You must be 18 years old. This facility is, as I mentioned, for automobiles. It's really for car enthusiasts, but it's also for anybody that's enthused about having a location that's going to have a country club setting with a pool and some really nice facilities that everybody in the family can use. Like I mentioned, there are about 10 to 15 private country clubs like this around. And when I say country club, I'm sure some of you have been to a golf course that has a country club, a community where they've got a clubhouse, where they've got swimming pools, they got banquet rooms, they have corporate suites. If you can, try to picture that's what this is. It's not about golf, but it's about car enthusiasts. Okay? And car enthusiasts can be people that have a 40 Ford Model T collector, or somebody that has a brand new 2022 Ferrari, and everybody in between. facility will be secured with 8-foot fencing and a gated entrance with a number of security guards. The reason for that is people will have garages with villas, and some of them will have some very, very expensive toys in their garages, and they must be secured. The clubhouse will offer a couple different restaurants, a rooftop bar, a banquet room, corporate offices, a store inside for shopping for merchandise, a workout facility, a steam room, swimming pool, a chapel, and much, much more. It hasn't even been designed yet, but we have our thoughts and our ideas of what we would like to see in the clubhouse, and we would also be open to ideas and thoughts from the community of what they may want to see in the clubhouse. This is a community project, okay? It's not something that is going to be closed off to the community. There's going to be, and I will get into this, many, many events over a year's period of time that the community can be involved in and can come and enjoy. Unlike the couple golf courses you folks have in the city today, or in the township today that close November, we will be open year-round, okay? And I'll explain to you some of the things that will be going on during that time period. Also, with the facility will be a professional kart track, which will be on the Bones property, which is on the other side of 29, on the north side of 29. This is a place where a lot of professionals on NASCAR, the kids, start their professional driving careers. There also will be a 100-unit RV park with full hookups. What is happening around the country is these families drive their children from different kart track to different kart track. They're pulled behind a motorhome. They want to be able to plug into a very nice facility, and they want to have a very, very nice professional kart track. We will have up to 600 different style garage condos. These are either for rent or for sale. I'm sure many of you are saying, who in the world would want one of these or buy one of these? And I can tell you folks, there's literally thousands of these garage villas around Minneapolis and Wisconsin and around the entire country. We're in the process right now of designing. We want to have 3 or 4 different floor plans. Like I said, some will be for rent, some will be for sale. We will also have garages so that if anybody does not want to buy, but wants to leave their car for a week, they'll have a garage that they can rent, and it'll be secure and safe. Along with all of this, we have plenty of land to build some incredible walking trails. I will get into with you shortly here some of the other amenities that we're going to add. We have been working with the DNR. We've been working with the county. We are very, very sensitive to the Kinney River. We do not affect the Kinney River. We are trying to figure out how we can do, what we can do to preserve the Kinney River and do some things, such as restoring some of the banks that have been washed away. Many other things that we can do, that we are willing to do, things that we have talked to the city about. The city will, or the facility will be open for members to use, of course, from April 1 to November 1. Okay? I'll get into the memberships here in a minute. The hours would be from 8 a.m. to dusk. The rest of the season will have other events like Halloween, scary rides, a haunted house, hay rides, During the winter time, many events like ice skating, cross-country skiing, use of the road course for the police training, fire department training, ambulance training, school bus training, the list goes on and on. There will be snowmobiling in the wintertime, ATVs in the wintertime. There'll be a winter light show that will be second to none in the entire country, where you can come in and tour. There'll be Christmas shows. The clubhouse will be open year-round, as I mentioned. There will be events for the public to view the cars, watch them on the course, enjoy the clubhouse, enjoy the winter events. There'll be different membership packages available, and the four are corporate, founding, private, and social, with some public events, as I mentioned. Again, if you compare this to a golf course, the only difference is it's for motorized vehicles. I just want to real briefly tell you why we've come to this community and why we spent the money and the effort that we have today. It's pretty simple, really. It's because this is an incredibly beautiful community. And what we bring will be hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of good-paying jobs, year-round jobs. In the food industry, what? What is it? Sorry. Many jobs, probably thousands, okay? The hotel business, the entertainment business, professional instructors, teachers, holiday events, winter events, commercial. We will have multiple types of commercial. What jobs mean are people are paying taxes to the city. I'm sure many of you know this, but at the end of the day, the city breaks even on property taxes related to housing. But commercial is a different story. You get different permit fees, development fees, and taxes. And while many of you, as landowners, may not care about that, the city does. Okay? The city would like to grow, they're pro-growth. It's very telling by what Tattersall, how they jumped in to help those people out, what that's meant. And this is an extension of what Tattersall has started. I don't know if anybody noticed, but last night, the city of Hudson approved a baseball stadium, okay? Pro-growth. Means jobs, means income for the city, for the community. The point is, a project like this is a win for the city and for the local businesses, and also for the local landowners, because we are paying top dollar for the properties that we have purchased today. And if anybody else is interested in selling, we have Dave here, not tonight, but ultimately talk about if you're interested in selling and what would be a very, very fair price. Okay? Again, we're not here to say you have to sell. We don't need your property. We don't know if the city's going to approve this. But I will tell you that the meetings we've had with the city, with the county, with the DNR, we have a lot of good favor on our side. We are very community-oriented, as I mentioned before. So, why this location? One, the land was available. The community is excited about the people that have expressed their love for cars. The businesses we've talked to could see what this could mean for the community. The Kinney River is a huge benefit to people that like to fish. The St. Croix, Turtle Lake Casino, baseball coming, the location being 40 minutes from Minneapolis, St. Paul, and all of Wisconsin. There's many reasons. So I could go on, but I think you see the layout, and I'm sure there's plenty of questions that everybody may have, and we're here to answer those questions.
Okay, good. Maybe if someone is good at reading that map, you could sort of explain. I mean, it would help me if I knew where Highway 29 was. I see 65.
Where's the villas?
David,
So, two things. Then I'll answer your question. One thing I want to talk about and address is, we were going to have a small meeting here where
Could you hold the mic?
Can't hear you.
So we invited a small group to this meeting, and we're glad that everybody's here. It's not that we don't want you here. I just don't want anybody to feel bad that they weren't invited, because we are planning a public meeting on August 22nd that will be announced, and we'll get you information on that, because we'll get the list of people that are here. So we'll make sure that everybody that wants to be involved in that meeting can be involved. And that meeting will be posted in conjunction with the city of River Falls. And that'll be August 22nd, and I think it's going to be at the high school. We don't know the exact time yet, because we're still determining that. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that, and we'll get you the information on when that will be. And our plan is to post it in the newspaper as well. Okay? The other thing that I want to piggyback on something that Neal was talking about is the tax base. One of the things that a project like this will do will bring significant tax base to the community, and that tax base will help reduce taxes for residential homes and other taxpayers that are already in the community, because the city spends X number of dollars a year, and they spread it out among what the tax base is. So if we significantly increase the tax base, it will have a positive impact on your taxes as well. So I'll go up here and try and explain what's going on.
Yeah, and I would point out that the track really is, as you can see, north of 65. It's not north of 29. I think that was what was said.
No, he's saying the car track. So there's two different tracks. So this is 65 here. This is the Unitarian Church where we are.
Okay.
And there's an entrance that will go in here, and these are all villas. So these structures that look like this, these are villas. These are villas as well, over here. And this is a preliminary drawing, this is not a final drawing, so they can change. Currently, they're showing the RV park up here on top of the hill on Bowen's property. And this is where the cart track is. And then the road course is in this area. So the green roads are public streets, and the black roads are the road course.
That the cars will drive on.
Right, and they can drive at whatever speed or level they want, because they're not public roads, and they can drive at whatever their ability is.
Okay.
Could you show where 29 is, please?
29 is right here. So this is 29. This is the
North
north
is actually the left.
North is still.
Yeah.
is this way.
That's confusing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is north. This is south. And this is where we are. This is the Moody property right here. And this is the home property over here, which is north of 29. Okay? Is that helping?
Yeah, that helps me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm a north
And then
person.
the event areas, skid pad, RV trailer and parking here, and then this is the clubhouse. And you've got parking stalls and event parking and so on and so forth here. So the main clubhouse area is right here. This is the road course. And they'll have probably for different events, they'll have different layouts where they're driving on, because they don't want people crossing and run. Because you don't want to have collisions on there, obviously. So does that help? Questions about?
Where is that entrance? Where are we in, or where is that in connection to the city, to our town hall?
The town hall would be up here more. Town hall's up here somewhere. This is the driveway that's the current driveway that goes around Unitarian Church.
That'd be that area back there.
It literally runs right past. It runs right past the pine tree section.
Do it at the microphone.
So you say that you've had talks with the city. Do we have a city representative here tonight?
They weren't able to come on short notice. We all found out today that there was gonna be a big group, and so they weren't able to attend, but they
Oh,
were.
yeah, I bet they weren't. Okay,
No, but-
so let me finish my question. So you say you've had talks with the city. Now, the people that have talked to the city claims, no, we did not receive a request for annexation.
That's true.
No, we have not said that we're gonna give sewer and water.
That's
No, we're not approving anything at this time.
That's true.
Okay,
We
so,
haven't submitted, I said, we have not submitted our plans to the city, okay? We have met with the city on 3 different occasions to discuss the plans. They like the plans, but there's a whole lot of work to be done yet.
okay, then subsequent question, then you say you've also talked with the DNR. I know there's a lot of wetlands out the way you're headed, so how does the DNR have planning to work with the wetlands?
So the wetlands are all designated here. You can see them in the green and brown. These are all wetlands. They've been delineated by a professional that delineates wetlands, and those will be preserved.
We actually have 4 crossings over wetlands that we're talking to the DNR on right
So
now.
the
And they will be bridges.
So the DNR thinks that won't be a negative impact on the wildlife living in those wetlands with racing cars around there? What?
Do they think what?
Negative impact on the wildlife in those wetlands with tearing cars steering around there at any speed? Does the DNR have any comment on that?
They will have.
Oh, yes, so will the public. Okay.
Okay.
We're in the beginning stages of all this, so what we're trying to do right now, and that's part of the reason why we're meeting with some of the neighbors, is we need to determine what lands are gonna be, which properties are gonna be included in the final project, because we want to design it 1 time, not 3 times. And then once we design it, then it will be submitted to the city for approval and annexation and all different approvals that we would need to be able to construct the project and move it forward.
I have many questions, but there are also people behind me. I'll ask one. When you met with the city, what requirements did they say you have to meet in order to get your approval? Like, you know?
Well, number 1 is annexation, okay? Number 2 is rezoning, okay?
What requirements does your organization have to meet for them to approve rezoning?
I just said that. Annexation,
For them to approve annexation,
yes.
What do
We need
you
to,
have
we
to
need
do?
to submit an application.
So how it works, ma'am, is as you bring a project forward like this, or you're building Tattersall, or redeveloping Tattersall, anything like that, especially if the city's going to be involved in providing these additional services or dollars, then what happens is during the approval process, the city and the developer works through what they call a developer's agreement, and that will designate what requirements are the developer would be bound by and what requirements the city would be bound by. Those things will happen after the application is submitted and before approval is given by the city, if it's given. Okay?
All right.
Sorry. So I have 2 questions, and the first one is actually about the infrastructure, and do you have a funding plan for the roads and the sewer and everything, on how that is going to get financed? Are you looking at tax increment financing? Are you looking for the city to fund all of that? And then my second question is that you mentioned that this was going to be a gated community, and but then you also mentioned that it would be open to the public and that there are public roads. So how will the public be able to move through gated community public roads that are crossing your property? Thank you.
I'll answer the first one. The first one is, oh, go ahead. You know the answers.
I can answer the first one, gated community question I don't have the answer to, but typically what happens in development is the city doesn't generally pay for things unless they're getting reimbursed through tax increment financing. The developer is either doing it and paying for it out of his own pocket, or paying for it with tax increment financing, which you seem to understand to some level, but for the people that don't, it's because the tax base is increasing. Sometimes the cities, because they want the project to happen, will provide dollars to help the developer offset some of the costs to develop it. And the money is paid back by the city's portion of the increase in taxes goes back to developers for a certain period of time that helps offset some of those costs.
We have been told the project does qualify for some tax increment financing, but it's not our plans at this point to approach the city for any tax money, okay? We have our own funding for the entire project.
Private road.
The second, pardon?
The private roads question that she asked.
She's answering that one now.
Okay.
What was the second question?
If it's a gated community, how are people gonna drive through?
Oh, that will all be designed. If you look to the left of our entrance, where the clubhouse is, yep, that is going to be more targeted to the community. Everything to the right of it is going to be gated, and that's all going to be private, where no public people will be allowed, because that's where the cars are going to be stored. So, and the same thing up on the hill.
Same thing in this area here.
There's plenty of room to make this work for everybody involved.
The green road is a public road, though. You said the green lines were public roads, and that goes through your villa area.
Yeah, some, the ones with the villas, they're planning to have those be gated, is what I'm saying.
Those will be private roads.
So it's not a public road.
It's a public road, it's owned by the city.
No, we haven't decided whether it's public or private.
Yes, exactly.
Look, we're in the working stages here, that's why we're here, okay? To work all these things out, which we will with the city as time goes on, okay? Whether they're private or public will be determined what works best for the city and what works best for the community, and what works best for the project. It doesn't affect you, whether they're private or public.
It does me.
The public pays for it, and it doesn't affect us.
He's saying that they're gonna pay for the roads.
We're paying for the roads.
If it's a public road, the public is going to pay for it.
We're paying for the roads, as I told you.
So I've done multiple developments myself where I paid for the roads. I give them to the city, including sewer and water, and they don't give us any dollars. So I pay for lots of public roads and public sewer and water systems throughout that development, and then I give it to the city. That's how it works in most cities.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say, please use the microphone because the people on the Zoom can't hear anything if you don't use the microphone.
Well, I'm going to do this the best that I can. Broke down pretty hard going over here. I partially grew up here. My grandma and grandpa. My grandma and grandpa had a Mercury dealership here. It was called Zastra Motors. My grandpa worked for Bobby and Mike Moody until he's about, what? How old was he? How old was Lyle Zastra when you fired him? He was about 75. He went on to work at Barron's Garage over by the DQ until he was in his 80s. And they had to quietly tell him that we're a little concerned about your safety. So this project comes close to home. The Bone family, they're not even here. These guys are trying to string the Bone family that I'm connected to. James Bone is my stepdad. He's my mom's boyfriend. They're not married. I got no connection with this. I don't care. But what I do care about is that I used to go around in that Bone family. I'd go to the yearly annual cookouts they had out there. I used to ride on Mike's tractor. He took me around there. I remember going there once and learning how to back up a little trailer behind the four-wheeler, and I sucked at it, and Mike showed me how to do it. I swam at Bobby's pool with his son, and I called him Bobby D, and he hated it. Just hated it. I came back here, went to school at UWRF, Apparently I teach in New Richmond at the tech school there. Gerhardt wouldn't have wanted this. Gerhardt Bone was an ag engineer teacher at UWRF. They still talk about him. I reached out to that school and they had no idea about this. These guys are pulling a fast one on you. It's BS. They're saying, oh, it's just a slow course. It's just a slow course. How big is that straightaway, buddy?
What's your question? Just,
What's
your question?
There's no question. There's a statement.
It's not a bitch session, it's an informational session.
I don't appreciate your comments, sir. I'm here to give some peace. You guys want to know how much they're paying these guys for this? Huh? Who wants to know? Who's going to back me up?
I do.
Because we need help to get this out of here.
There's a time and place for everything. And we want this meeting to find out everything we can about the project. And I could say, if you have something to say about the future plans for the Riverfall area, you can go down to City Hall tomorrow. They're having the comprehensive plan sessions all day long. Show up to anyone, even if you're not a large.
I was going to say before I get done.
Just show up on tomorrow if you want to express some opinions on the project. But we've got scarce time and we've got a lot of questions. So
I got one. This is Lee.
okay.
I want to know how big that straightaway is.
It is just under 1 mile.
How fast do you think a brand new Ferrari can get 1 mile?
175 if they like.
There you go. And guess what? All these crooks out there with all this money. Anybody heard of GT40 at full throttle on the Mons track? Go on YouTube. See how loud that is. These people don't care. You're gonna get rich folk from the city.
Okay.
They don't give a damn about you guys.
All right, that's a good question, and I'll just end that with, I am concerned about the noise.
Sure.
Can you say something about
These are all street legal automobiles that can drive on any road, anywhere, anytime. Their decimal points are the same on 65 as they will be on a road. And by the way, the Bones and the Moody's have the right to sell their property, okay? What we paid for it is our business. If the city wants this project, it will happen if they see the economic benefits and the economic benefits for taxes. If not, it won't.
There was a question that came in on Zoom asking about what sort of public entertainment you are foreseeing.
It's too early to get into that right now, okay? That will be discussed in good time.
So, my wife and I live about 3 miles up on 29.
Sure.
And we can hear every game that's played on Raymer Field. We can hear all the fireworks. We can hear so many things that reverberate through the countryside. My question originally was, what is the decibel level that you anticipate producing as a result of this track? And if you can answer that.
And I did.
No, you didn't.
It's under 100 decibel points, which is the same as any Corvette or any high-powered vehicle
So
going down the road.
you're telling me cars racing, you say they're not racing, but they're going as fast as they can, multiple cars racing around this track, and it's going to be the same as a country road. Yeah.
We have studies.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Well, that's okay.
You've looked at this crowd and you've like, now, one more thing.
Yes.
I understand that the people who sold the land have the right to sell it to whoever they want.
Sure.
But if they knew what they were selling it for, I'm afraid they sold their soul, and I'm disappointed.
Hi, I'm here for myself tonight. tell you why in a minute, but I am also here as a spokesperson for Gene Morrow. Gene Morrow has a farm that's been in their family for at least 100 years. Adjacent to this property, Gene can't be here tonight, his brother just died, he's at the funeral today. I had spoke with Gene a couple weeks ago, and then today, I went back over and talked to Gene. I wanted to confirm what I thought I had learned from Gene. Gene has been approached to sell his land to this project. I wanted to be sure that today, even today, Gene he said, I am not in favor of this project and I will not be selling my land. So I share that on behalf of Gene Morrow. Good for Gene. My property is our 120-year-old family farm. It's within 100 yards adjacent to this project on the northeast property line. Obviously, you can read that we are not in favor of this project in any way. My family has gone the whole gamut. We are on 5th generation farming that. We've preserved a beautiful place that all of you, or many of you that I can see in the crowd, have enjoyed. It's one of the reasons we have this beautiful rural area that brings you folks in. Like, hey, isn't this great? We could come in and, gosh, we could leave our mark on this beautiful area. You might think about why this beautiful area is here. I'll move on. The decibel thing was my question. When you're driving a car down the freeway, at freeway speeds, it's X amount of noise. When you speed it up, it's more noise. I grew up on a farm. We farm now. We've always farmed. We know about noise. We know about how you crank it into road gear, and it gets up there with your noise. There's a similar facility in Joliet, Illinois. It is located adjacent to the rail yards and warehouses. It is not adjacent to a Class A trout stream, a DNR preservation, residential housing, farms, university, high school, Montessori schools. I echo the man who spoke earlier about, I can hear when that rodeo that's going on down there. I can hear the football games. You can hear everything that goes on in the city. We're in a valley. You're going to hear it. That's how noise travels and up over the hills. I would suggest, you're all from Minnesota, take your project back and put it next to your own homes.
I'm wondering, I've got a bunch of friends who are interested in this project, who are not able to be here tonight, and they were wondering if there was a website that they could look into that would give them more information so that they could do some more research.
The website is currently being set up.
So it is not. So at a later meeting,
Another week or so.
Yeah, I just wanted to get in on this whole noise issue. To me, it's about quality of life. I live over by the middle school in the city of River Falls. I really don't want to hear this racetrack. Okay, it's not a racetrack. I spend a lot of time in my backyard barbecuing burgers and having friends over. I live here for the peace and quiet, as a lot of people here probably do. I don't want to see it altered just because there are car enthusiasts among us. It's that old not in my backyard idea. Now, you set my mind at ease somewhat when you said this is not a NASCAR track, and I really appreciated that. However, then you went on to say that NASCAR level professionals will be training youngsters who want to become NASCAR drivers. What is it really? And am I going to hear it at my house? Because I don't want to hear it. It's noise pollution. I'm not a car enthusiast. I can only speak for myself, but I think a lot of people don't want to hear the type of volume and the sort of, let's be honest, that obnoxious sort of zoom, 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 continual noise on a Friday night when we're having a burger in the backyard. So to me, it's all about the noise, and I do not live adjacent to the property. Others are even more worried than I am. But you haven't really put my mind at ease. You said it's not a NASCAR track, but there is a track. And you mentioned 100 decibels, and I'm just not convinced that this is going to be a quiet thing.
Okay, you talked about transparency and trying to let everybody know that it's involved. Yep. So I live right on the other side of those trees, and nobody contacted me or Bruce Mentz about this. And the driveway you're talking about is our driveway. We're sharing that, and nobody has talked to us. So I can't believe that you can come here and say that you've informed and included everybody that's going to be affected by this, because we live right there.
I don't think we said that. I thought we said we were going to have a public hearing on August 22nd.
Why would you not include the town? You didn't have the town involved, and this is the ETZ. So the town is involved. You have not, you've involved the city, but not the town. So you didn't come to them and be transparent with them. And why wouldn't you think about Steve Anderson's there, I see his farm from my place. Why would you think that we shouldn't be included in this?
We're not saying that.
So this is a list of people that we invited, that Steve was going to invite, and your name is on the list, and so is Friar Moose.
But nobody did.
Steve was said he would contact everybody. So.
Well, he did before. Yes, that's because
that's
he had asked. He didn't want to have just a private meeting.
Right.
He wanted everybody included.
He said come in with people, so I made this list up of the people that we wanted specifically invited tonight. Okay?
Because of him. Thank you.
No,
Anyway, that's pretty much it.
everybody's going to be invited to the August 22nd meeting. That was the intent of the public meeting. Okay? Thank you.
So, a little bit of full disclosure. You may not be able to tell, but I'm not really a native. I grew up in North Carolina, spent more than my fair share of time near both golf courses and I'll try not to take this personally, NASCAR track. I think it's a bit of a false equivalency. Honestly. And even if it's not our city, the folks that build the golf courses kind of go out of their way to try to protect the property of the folks that may not like the golf courses. You know, the ones that get hit with the golf balls and get sort of wire cages and stuff put up. Trying to say it's going to be quiet is malarkey. How's it? Or that it's not going to be any noisier than highways or anything like that. I guess my question is, because you've made it pretty clear that you're pretty sure it's going through if it makes money for people.
I did not say I'm pretty sure it's going through.
Yeah, I think that's what you're intimating, or rather that
it's on record.
That it's all up to the city. Outside of that, assuming that there's going to be quite a few folks adjacent that don't feel like selling, what are you going to be doing for them to mitigate the noise that you say isn't going to be happening?
There is a thing called sound walls.
Yeah.
That go 8 or 10 or 12 feet that knock the decibel points in half. Okay? This will all be presented on August 22nd. We're here tonight, we were here tonight to talk to the surrounding landowners to see if they want to sell. The details are still coming. Okay? Is that fair?
Sure. I just asked a question. Okay.
And it is not NASCAR, okay? I said NASCAR. A lot of young people start out on kart tracks that end up being part of NASCAR, okay? I did not say anything about NASCAR.
I was just trying to point
driving.
out that I wasn't taking your negative NASCAR personally.
Okay.
But also, if we want to get into that, you can't say it's not a racetrack, but we have races.
I didn't say we have races. If people want to go out and fly around the course, that's up to them. It's a private country club. They can go 150 or they go 50 miles an hour. Okay?
More than one of them on the road at a time.
What's that?
More than one of them on the road at a time? It's a race.
Yeah, let's have the next question.
Hello, I have a brief statement and then a few questions. Boy, it's getting kind of heated in here. Telling these guys we won't appreciate the noise is not going to do too much good. Talk to your neighbors. I don't know what we do. I think our best bet is to get it on a River Falls ballot so River Falls citizens all get to vote on it. I don't know how to make that happen. Talk to your neighbors. Will your guards be armed? Will your guards be armed?
Yes.
And how much training will you require so that they're not, trigger happy?
We won't get into that. We won't get into that tonight. But certainly, if you're going to have a guard, you'd like them to be armed, especially in this world, wouldn't you?
Sounds like
I don't want an armed guard pointing at me while I'm in the garden.
Well, nobody said we were doing it in your garden.
But
It's
my
private property.
garden is right there within your boundaries that you drew that's your place. Like our place that hasn't sold is there in your map, in the little lines you drew of where you are.
I need to see exactly where your property is, please.
Where's your property? You don't know where the church is on the map?
Yes. Are you talking about the church property?
It is church.
We're not in your property.
My next question is, these thousands of jobs you're providing in the community, what is the lowest of the wages you will offer to the community members coming to work here?
That will all be discussed on the 27th. This is not a public
I thought this was an
hearing tonight.
informational meeting.
Okay.
Is this a sales pitch? I thought it was for information.
It is for information, but there's some things that I do not
Are you
have.
bored of answering our questions now, or?
Do I seem bored? Because if I
Stop
do,
answering
I'm sorry.
questions.
I said, I don't know. What's the minimum wage today? I don't know. Is it $16 or
Got it. You're gonna pay
$14?
them. Got it.
Most of the jobs will be contracted by whoever's running that particular venue or commercial business. So the developer is not going to be the one deciding what the labor rates are, and I'm not sure why that matters tonight. So if you have another question, please ask it. Otherwise, we need to let other people talk.
So this is a community-oriented thing for our community, just to check if our community is invited. What will the private and social memberships cost?
On the 22nd, we
Will
will
I be
discuss
able to
that.
afford it, working
I
as an
don't know.
employee for you?
That's,
It's laughable, isn't it? It's laughable. Thanks very much.
Property on the backside of Moody's. I'm just kind of curious on where
Talking to the
these.
mic, Eric, talking to the mic.
I have property on the backside of Mike's. Sure. And just kind of curious on where these drivers come from. Are they from like Minneapolis? Are they coming from Chicago? Why can't the track go that way and not here? Where these Edina, Minnetonka area where the rich money is, why can't the track go that way? I just kind of wonder where these
well, the drivers come from all over the country. They do. That's why we have an RV park.
Okay.
Since I realize a lot of the questions we're asking are things that are things that are going to be answered in the future. I understand.
Can you take your mask down so I can hear you?
Can you not?
We can
I'm sorry. I'd like to hear.
I understand that many of the questions being asked are those that will be answered in the future.
Yes.
I'd like to ask about your past.
Okay.
about what successful experience you have in combined commercial and residential real estate development on this scale? And do you have any tax judgments against you?
That's funny.
I've been a land developer for 35 years. I have done multiple projects, okay? From residential, my turn.
Wait, but I said on this scale, and if
Nothing,
you're going to
nothing.
mention them, state them by name so I can look them up.
This is our first road course adventure.
Not his, no, those were not his courses. He was mentioning courses around the country, but those weren't his.
Those are not ours. I did not
Yes,
say
I
that.
understand that. You did not say that.
Okay.
When you have had real estate development, did you have a combination of commercial and residential and entertainment as you are talking about on this level in this scope? Or is this your first project of this size?
I have, and my partners have. We would be happy to make that available to everybody on the 22nd. Okay? We're not here to talk about that tonight.
Well,
honestly.
it does speak to your financial viability.
I just, ma'am.
And do you have any tax judgments against you?
No.
Thank you.
A question in regard to this development, if everything goes through, if it is annexed, what is the guarantee that the likelihood that this will actually go through? Or is it going to be 500 acres that were rezoned and nothing can be done with it? What is the likelihood?
Well, it's a great question, okay? But I wouldn't be here tonight, nor would my partner, nor would our lender be on board if we did not intend to bring this all the way through to completion, okay?
You mentioned that there was an Autobahn at Joliet.
A what?
An Autobahn at Joliet.
Joliet.
Joliet?
Yes.
Well, there was another one. It was at Wolf Creek Autobahn. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. Wolf Creek was located in southern Minnesota. Had it not been for COVID, the project would be built, and I wouldn't be here tonight.
COVID is going
And I'm
on
very
now.
thankful, by the way, despite how bad I hate what COVID brought to this country, it did stop that project, and we would not be here, like I say, if it wasn't for that reason. We got stopped because of COVID.
That's the only reason.
I'm not
COVID
going
is
to get
going
into
on
all the
now.
other reasons, but COVID was a big factor.
It's going on now. COVID is. And the effects of it.
COVID's not stopping me from moving forward.
But it's stopping you from moving forward on Wolf Creek.
In 2020 it did, yes.
Dear, I'm sorry, with 20 versus 2022, it's a little bit different. If you're still worried about 2020 COVID, maybe, I guess you're in masks, so there you go.
Seriously? Are you kidding me? You're not making
It's
it
true.
right.
There has to be a masks by building leadership.
No, they're optional.
So I got a question for you, real quick, over to your right, over here. My name is Martin. I live right around the corner right here. So I learned about this yesterday, which is, I'm glad that I did. Had an email forwarded me that was forwarded from somebody else. That was forwarded to my wife, who forwarded it to me. And we live about, I don't know, 200 yards from here.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. So I guess my question, I have an observation about two questions. One, my observation is this: is that if this is your first impression to the neighbors who live around here, I guess I would caution to stop laughing at people. Number one, that's just like a suggestion, because first impression, heck no. Like just that's just my opinion, and I feel like I'm a good people person that can read people. Second of all, you talked about the Hudson development with the baseball stadium. Lift Ridge Brewery is building up there too. That's a vacant lot where the dog track was. So there was a track there, a ton of people, commercial, industrial area. That sat vacant for a long time, and Hudson's been begging somebody to get into that space. Apples to oranges there. We talked about Tattersall. Just wait. No, listen, man. I've heard you listen to me, and now I'm happy to listen to you. What was your name? I'm sorry.
Neal.
Neal. I came like 5 minutes late, so I apologize. My name is Martin. And then we talked about Tattersall real quick up here, which was the old Shopco building in River Falls. Sat empty for how long, River Falls, folks? I mean, ever, right? Eyesore to the community. That the River Falls was begging people to get in there. Nobody's begging for this to be developed at all. No, it's apples and oranges, my friend. If you start talking about Tattersall and Hudson development, you can't say, well, listen, these are good things. River Falls is not pro-growth. If anybody's here from River Falls, like from the city, I appreciate that. River Falls is not pro-growth, they're pro-money. Period. That's it. They want more taxes, and I get it. Like, I understand municipalities, I get all that. It's not pro-growth, it's pro-money. So those are my two things that I kind of wanted to just say. My first question is, part of this part of the township? All of it's a part of the township now?
It's in the ETZ.
Talk to me about that.
Extraterritorial zone.
Okay.
Which means it's township land.
Okay.
That is controlled by the city.
Okay.
Basically.
So the township had a board meeting on Monday,
Yes.
correct? Was anybody there?
No. Don Leek was there.
Don was there?
He's never approached.
So that's my question. It sounds like that was a surprise to some of the people that were there. That's concerning to me. Is that wrong?
I have spoken to the township.
The board. You've talked to the board. You've talked to everybody there.
Excuse me, I'm on the board.
They said, they said if the city was in favor of annexation, they would also be in favor.
That was a board statement. The board said that.
That is
That's a lie.
not true.
It's not, I'll give you the name of the gentleman's name.
Dude, some guy saying it is not the board saying it.
Yes, Doc's that.
One guy saying it is not the board saying it.
We don't have any male on our board who would have said that. We have discussed this project as much as we can on our board, given that Neal has not been to our board with this project.
I did not say anything
So
before. I said I
categorically,
spoke
the
to
board
a
has
member.
not said
You spoke to a zoning.
anything about we'd be happy to have this annexed.
Did you talk to Jerome? He's a zoning administrator.
Yes.
It's not the board. Thank you.
He's a zoning administrator.
All right. So 4 or 5 questions later, they haven't talked to the board of River Falls Township. So that's important to know. It's important to know. And you mentioned earlier that this was a small meeting, which I get. I wasn't invited, and I get that, but I'll show up. That's what I do. I show up on Thanksgiving to people that aren't invited. I guess my question is, you mentioned that this was a meeting to talk to neighbors if they wanted to sell their property, their land. So our answer is no to that. But what else are we going to talk about? Because the first conversation should have been with the neighbors, in my opinion. Sell the land, buy the land. I understand real estate, been in real estate for 15 years. I understand that. Buy it. You're not going to buy it unless you have a plan. You're not going to have a plan unless you have backers. I get all that. Talk to the people, man. Because I'm not hearing a whole lot of people clapping in your favor.
There is a plan that will get submitted to the city.
All right, I'll give you my phone number if you want to come talk to me and sell me on it, because these are my people. I'm their neighbor. We gotta get us on board.
The meeting on August 22nd was when we were planning to talk to people that weren't interested.
Keep saying it, and we're here tonight, mate. I don't know what to tell you about that.
So we're less prepared tonight because we thought we were meeting.
August 22nd is gonna be a lot louder. I promise.
We can't change that. I'm just trying to tell you that we're answering the questions the best we can, the preparation we had. It was the day that we found out that there was going to be a letter over here. And so we didn't have time.
You should be prepared for whatever, right? I mean, you're talking about how many millions of dollars? Come on.
And then your comment about us not being talking to the board, typically, and I've done several developments that have managed property in the city.
Sure.
In different places. And typically, if it's in an extraterritorial area, which this is,
Sure.
you deal with the city, and the city deals with the township. That's how it typically works. Doesn't mean it's
And
right.
I appreciate that, because I don't know, I'm learning this too, and guess what, I'm gonna get really educated really fast.
It doesn't mean it's right, I'm just telling you how it works.
So if it's not right, but that's how it works, then it's time to have a conversation with the
Could
board.
I make a correction to that, because I am on town plan commission, and Siri is on town board. Let me just say, to the person who remarked that the only way this is ever gonna happen is if the city incorporates this land. That's the only way that's ever gonna happen. The town cannot stop that. That activity cannot be stopped by the town. So what we need to do as citizens of River Falls and the town of River Falls is put the pressure on our city and our city representatives, so they just tell you guys to go back to Minnesota.
This has been a long meeting. I'm going to give people permission to leave if they want. Of course, I don't need to give you permission, I guess. I have one question. You mentioned the purchase of the land, 500 acres of the two families. Is that land purchased or is it on auction? That's what I want to know.
It's under contract.
What's that mean?
They haven't closed on it, but they didn't sign an option. Options are you pay them a piece of a dollar amount of money with the option to buy it within a certain period of time. They're under contract to buy it for a set price by a certain date.
By a certain date? Do you want to share that date with us?
And
okay.
It's a lot of money.
That's fair.
Why?
Well, that's okay. That's fair.
I'm obligated to privacy, just like confidentiality, just like an attorney is, and I'm not going to jail for anything.
And I just want a clarification. On August 22nd, is that solid that you'll have a public meeting on this project at the city council meeting? Is that?
It's not going to be at the city council meeting. We're still confirming the time and the date. We believe the date's the 22nd. And we think it's going to be at the high school, but we don't know the exact time yet.
Oh, okay.
So we have to confirm that with the city. They were going to get back to us and confirm it works for them, because it doesn't do any good to have a meeting without them. So that's why we're trying to set up a public meeting where we can have everybody there, and have everybody have a voice that's reasonable. And then we'll get everybody's concerns. We'll have more questions to the answers, but we probably still won't have all the questions then either.
Yeah. I understand. All right, we've got one more question here. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Neal.
Okay.
And that would be, if you were standing here as me with a young family, a beautiful country ranch where you're raising your horses with your kids, would you want this happening literally right next to you?
I would want to know.
Perspective, I
I
have
would want to
horses,
know all
I have a
about
young
it before I
family.
could answer that.
No, if you were me standing now, you know what this is. Would you be in favor of this?
I wouldn't be.
So if you could understand and respect our feelings and frustration and anxiety, and I'm literally going like this right now, because it's a lot.
I understand that.
The only kid said,
I'm not sitting here saying.
my son's 10 years old. You know what his first word he said when I told him what I was doing tonight? He said, "Where's our peace gonna go, Mom?" Think about that.
Part of the reason that we're here is because we want to give people the opportunity to sell their property if they don't want to.
I don't want to sell property. You're hearing my
I understand your point. Man, I live.
I moved here 5 years ago for this peaceful, gorgeous peace area. I moved from Milwaukee to get away from chaos.
I'm only trying to talk. Okay? So I understand what you're trying to say, and I can tell you that I live in a spot where people would have complained because something went in my backyard. You know where the Stillwater crossing is, it comes out of Stillwater across the St. Clair River. I live right next to that. Okay? I didn't complain. I knew that I couldn't stop it. It is what it is. It's not perfect. It's not terrible. I would say it's beautiful, but there's some noise from it. Okay? And it's probably as much noise as you're probably going to experience from this one. Then come sit at my house someday.
And I respect your comment about that. However,
take that further, you're adding more people, you're adding race cars, you're adding a whole new element. And I guess the other thing that I would like to throw at you, this community has an amazing ice skating rink. We have so many amenities that you're proposing, which it does sound great, but we have so much already here. So I don't know if that financially would be a good investment for you.
You want to talk?
Obviously, ice skating is not the main focus of this facility.
He had mentioned that would be as a sales point. I was just trying to bring that to perspective.
I do understand.
I guess my question is, how are people gonna know when this next meeting is? You keep saying August 22nd.
If your name's on that list, we'll make sure you know.
What
Okay?
if it's not?
I don't know, I might be on the list.
There's a table right there. You put your name and email address on it. I will personally make sure you get invited.
Okay, and then are they gonna tell other people about it that aren't on this
It's
list? So
gonna be
everybody's.
publicized on social media, it's gonna be in the paper, it's gonna be people, the chamber's gonna be involved in it. So we're gonna do everything we can to make sure people know about it.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
Okay, I think that might be enough for now. Let me just remind you, I want to thank Neal and his partners for coming here and facing your questions. And I want to thank people here for coming with those questions. There will be more discussion, especially on April 22nd. But I'll just remind you, August 22nd. I just want to remind you, if you want to, you can make your voice heard tomorrow. I think it's a perfect opportunity down at City Hall. They're working on a comprehensive plan, plus the bike and I think outdoor recreation plans too. But tomorrow is your time to go down there and tell them what you vision the River Falls area, that includes the township, should look like in the next 20 years. It's all different 1.5 hour slots. Like I said, I'm going at 11 o'clock, 11 to 12:30. They'd be happy to hear your views. And if you're even if you're not from the city of River Falls, I don't think it's a crime to contact any member of the city council to give them your ideas, okay? And again, thanks for coming, and thank you all for coming, but I think we better just wrap it up tonight. There'll be more information. If you want to hear about any kind of meetings concerning this project, be sure to sign the sheet there with an email. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.